All right, so we are here for my Kaiserreich America Let's Play. Now, a little bit of background for those of you if you're not already familiar with Kaiserreich, although it is, I think, maybe one of the bigger mods for Darkest Hour, so you might already be familiar with it. So, Kaiserreich is a mod for Darkest Hour, which is itself a standalone mod of Hearts of Iron 2 by Paradox. Hearts of Iron 2 and Darkest Hour, of course, are World War II grand strategy games. So you're going to be moving, managing navies and armies and, the Air Force, and you're going to be, building alliances and all that, and, fighting the Nazis or the Soviets or whatever. Now, Kaiserreich is an alternate history mod where the scenario isn't, instead of being right before World War II as we know it, it's before World War II as happened if Germany had won World War I. So the political situation of the world is completely different. And we'll actually take a look at some of that after we load up the map here. And so we can see here it's Kaiserreich Legacy of the Weltkrieg. So Germany is like a major world power here in like 1932 or something. And anyway, we're just going to start up pretty soon. We'll be playing as America. You'll actually see that there's actually quite a lot of effort was put into this scenario. There's a huge number of events and just general... There's a lot of branching paths, a lot of different directions that things can take. It's a little bit less railroady than maybe the original World War II scenario was. So, for instance, you play the game multiple times and you'll see alliances aren't all the same. Sometimes the alliances will fall in one direction or another, or sometimes the war won't even really happen at all. It's actually quite interesting. So we're going to start here. Legacy of the Weltkrieg is like the whole world map, so it's like the most general scenario. I'm going to pick the United States. Just reading a little bit here. Throughout the 19th century, the USA remained of limited importance to the great powers, despite her powerful position in the Americas, an attitude that was reinforced by America's policy of isolationism and adherence to the Monroe Doctrine. Let's skip ahead. However, from mid-1915, after the sinking of the Lusitania by a German U-boat, Germany chose to change this policy in an attempt at reconciliation. The move succeeded, and the USA remained out of the Weltkrieg as a combatant. Unfortunately for the United States, German victory in the war and the consequent revolution in France led to an over-reliance on Britain for trade, which collapsed when the home isles descended into the chaos of their own revolution. In the decades since these events, the USA struggled economically as Germany extended her domination around the world and sought to protect and expand her own economic power. Yeah, so one of the big differences here is America never enters World War I. After the Allies lose World War I, there's a revolution in France. So you can see here we have the Commune of France. So it's kind of like communism. And then we have the Union of Britain, which is now, so Britain's a republic now. It's like a socialist republic, and the royal family fled. German Empire here, obviously. Austria. Although Austria was on the winning side of the Weltkrieg, the war's main impact was to reveal the empire's significant weaknesses and utter dependence upon Germany. Over the course of the 1920s, one disaster followed another. The Emperor Karl died in 1922, causing the throne to pass to his 10-year-old son Otto. And basically, Austria-Hungary breaks up, as you could imagine. Italian Federation. The unified Italy created in 1861 lasted a little more than half a century. Her decision to side with the Entente powers rather than her traditional Central European allies during the Great War proved to be a mistake of the highest order. In 1919, Italy collapsed under a Central Powers offensive, and the combination of anger at Italy's betrayal and the Austrian desire for a divided Italian peninsula led to the breakup of Italy as a nation. So we'll look a little bit more at that. So, Canada. Here's something interesting. Canada saw so basically the royal family fled to Canada, and so they lead this kind of alliance of like the old powers, like a Canada, Australia, the British Raj. They're kind of in this alliance hoping to like retake London, and restore like the old, autocratic empires in the face of these these like socialist revolutions that have taken over most of Europe outside of the German sphere of influence. Anyway, playing as the United States is generally unchanged, actually, although we will see that it will not stay that way for long. You'll also see quite a few historical figures show up in like the different, cabinet positions or as head of these countries. So, like for your Oswald Mosley, I think is one of the potential leaders of Britain after this revolution. I think again that's another interesting thing about the game is that actually there's like not all the leaders are always the same. Like I think the major ones are, but for like the aside from like Germany, for instance, there's like different leaders that kind of randomly show up and take these countries kind of in different directions. And I'll probably point out a few examples if I happen to notice it. Anyways, you can see the art here for this game is quite good. I really like the splash screens, and it really gives kind of a feel for the scenario. And indeed, yes, my computer is just chugging along here. Alrighty. Here we go. Alright, so let's take a look here. As you can see, so here's the United States. You're not really allied with anybody. You've got Alaska, you've got the mainland territories, you've got Hawaii, some Pacific states, some Pacific islands. Nothing too shocking. Canada is the head of the Entente, which is like that alliance of like the former kind of autocratic remnants of the British Empire. See, so you can see here the head of the of Canada is His Royal Majesty George V, and he's in an alliance with see, is that Delhi? Yes, Delhi, which is this. As you can see the flag here. It's got the Union Jack on it, so it's this union with the British territories. And the Australasian Confederation, which is Australia and what's that? New Zealand, yes. And they are also allied with the Canadians. Take a look at the map here. So Germany is quite a bit bigger than in the real world at this time, and we have Wilhelm II still alive. He's the head of Germany. Franz von Papen as well. France is totally different. They're headed by a syndicalist government, and the Union of Britain is a, quote, radical socialist government, led by Philip Snowden, who, not really anyone I'm familiar with. But here's something interesting. So we have National France, which is basically when the revolution hit France, like France's leaders fled into their African territories, kind of like what happened in World War II with Charles de Gaulle and the Free French. So we have this big chunk of Africa that's National France. So he's headed by Philip Pétain and Maurice Janin, who you might be familiar with Pétain as he was the marshal who was put in charge of Vichy France, the collaborationist government of France after it was taken over by Germany during World War II. So then, yeah, also Italy is no longer unified. We have an Italian federation run by authoritarian Democrats, and it's headed by Pope Pius XI. He is a, quote, stern imperialist. Well, that's not really a very ringing endorsement. And then we have in the south, including Sicily, we have the Socialist Republic of Italy. They're syndicalist, and they are allied with the French. Russia is a social liberal, so there was no Bolshevik revolution there, although their territory has been truncated by, the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk? I can't really pronounce any of those names, but the World War I treaty that ended the war between Germany and Russia never got abrogated because obviously Germany won in this scenario. So Russia's quite a bit smaller in Europe, headed by Kerensky, who is, I believe, the head of the White Army in the Russian Civil War. So Japan is probably the least changed in this scenario because they still control Korea. They're still in Manchuria. We have China is quite a bit different. First of all, we had the Qing Empire, which is still around, and that is still headed by the Qing Emperor Puyi. We have Manchuria is controlled by the Fengtian Republic, which is a puppet state of Japan, headed by Zhang Zuolin and Yuan Shishan. Not really sure who those people are, but they probably are famous to somebody. And then we have, Germany still controls the Qingdao and that peninsula there, Tianjin. I used to live in China, and their biggest beer brand, well, it might not be the biggest, but it's one of the biggest, is Qingdao beer, because the Germans had a brewery there, and it's been in operation for quite a long time. It's actually a pretty good beer. And then we have Alamo, Osterich. Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce this German name, but this is a German puppet state comprising of southern China. You can see here, and although there's also some of the legation cities. If you might remember the legation cities, that was concessions of the Chinese government to the, what was it, the Eight Nation Alliance that intervened after the Boxer Rebellion got out of control. And Germany still controls Haikou and Maoming, which, yeah. Philippines is a puppet of the U.S. Okay, yeah, so, again, so we are America in this. So as you can see, things are quite a bit different. And as the United States, we have that puppet of the Philippines. Mexico is a radical socialist state, but they still have a good relationship with us, and it's headed by Emiliano Zapata, who I'm not too familiar with, but I don't recall him being a big friend of the United States. And he is a syndicalist demagogue. I really love the way they describe some of these people. We also control Guantanamo Bay and the Panama Canal. Let's see if we can turn the sound on here a little bit. Yes? Okay. Let's lower the game speed down to above normal, and maybe we should get going. Almost forgot. Okay, so let's check out our own cabinet here. Well, head of state is, our president is Herbert Hoover, and he is a, quote, unpopular president, does not have the support of the people, and struggles to keep his position. So this is, we've been saddled with a real crap leader at this point in the game. Dissent growth rate plus 5%, manpower growth minus 3%, peacetime stockpile plus 5%, IC minus 3%. Basically, it's just a bunch of debuffs that are being applied to the United States. Charles Curtis is our head of government, and he's a backroom backstabber. Oh, okay. Douglas MacArthur, Chief of the Army. Chief of Staff is Patrick J. Hurley, Chief of the Navy. Robert L. Gormley. I'm not too sure who that is. Anyway, so we want to pick our text first. We're gonna have to start researching pretty quickly, because I've actually played this scenario before, and I can tell you is that shit's gonna get real for America in about a year. Actually, maybe even less than a year, actually, depending on how things go. So first, we're gonna research 1936 infantry. And I think we're going to have a Colt Manufacturing Company do that, because they actually fit all the things we need. Artillery, training, general equipment, and munitions. So Colt is working on that. Land doctrines, basic hospital, obviously, and the person best suited for researching this is, strangely enough, Douglas MacArthur. I didn't realize he was such an expert on medicine, but yeah. Industry... Yeah, so it's 1936, so we want to stick with texts that are where the historical time for researching them is 1936. Otherwise, we'll get a penalty to research. Oh, just got a phone call there. All right. Anyway. Naval doctrines. Moderate port blockade. Yeah, obviously the United States, if we're going to be involved at all in world affairs, we're going to have control of the sea. Otherwise, we're going to just be sitting at home, not getting much accomplished. So we want to make sure that our Navy stays competitive. Maybe better ASW equipment. Nope, actually light carriers. We're going to need a lot of light carriers for this game, I think. So we're going to research the next... 1929 light carriers, and that would be with the Norfolk Naval Yard. Troop ships, obviously, that's something we're going to want to research with the Electric Boat Company. 1937, Torpedo, 1935, ASW. Yes, we want to get the latest ASW and anti-submarine warfare text that we can. And, let's see, secret weapons. Do we have... No, we can't really research any of those. Industrial, looking at... and we can get nuclear research labs. And I don't think there's anybody that can actually research as well. So I'm just going to have Edward Rickenbacker can do it. I'll get that done pretty slowly, but we're gonna just go. And we are moving along, finally. Going to issue some currency because we're running at a big deficit because we're spending so much on research, but we definitely want that. All right, now let's take a look at our economy. Right now we're building a carrier, Yorktown class aircraft carrier, and that will be done in a few months, but we're going to actually delay that because we need to start building something else. Now, I've actually played this scenario before, so I know what's going to happen later, and what we're going to definitely need is first of all, we're going to go for militia. So I think we're going to go with serial production of 5, and then maybe for a total of 25 divisions. For a total of 35 divisions of militia. And you're going to see why we want that in a minute. Let's also get some actual infantry as well. I'm just going to do one serial run of 6. And then cavalry too. We want some cavalry units. Those are going to be good as well. Next, we want brigade attachments. Brigade attachments are very important. I think really what we want to focus on is not anti-aircraft, but artillery. Why are artillery important? Because artillery are one of the few brigades that militia unit can actually use. If, for instance, we got these, like the super heavy artillery, for instance, that wouldn't do us any good because the militia can't use those. So we're going to serial run of maybe 16. 3 parallel runs. So we want to get a good production of those as well. Now you can see up here that even though our potential industrial production is 255, we are producing at only 28, and that's because we're at peacetime. So the United States is a democracy, so we get a peacetime industrial capacity modifier of like negative 80% or something. Pretty terrible. Anyway, so this mod has been in development for like 8 years or something, very long time. So here they have they came up with a little event commemorating past developers. I don't know, on the shoulders of giants indeed. But I only just came to this mod very recently, so I'm not really familiar with any of those guys. Oh, and again, special thanks. And again, another special thanks window. So we're gonna be getting a lot of pop-ups from different countries because most of the major countries are going to be making a bunch of different decisions, which are really important, which are going to change the course of the game. You know, like sometimes it usually turns out the same way, but occasionally you get a radical departure. For instance, see right here, Union of Britain, Comrade Mosley calls a meeting. Mosley was, I believe, he was the fascist leader of the British. He was like a fascist leader in Germany. He's right now the armaments minister. He's a resource industrialist. So he's in there. Socialist Republic of Italy. Mosley wants to talk to Mussolini. And Mussolini is he in the cabinet here? I don't see him in there. Okay, well, not sure what he's up to. But. So while political changes and decisions are being made, yeah, okay, and Kerensky just got assassinated in Russia, and he's been replaced by the Senate. Okay, well, Japan government announces economic exploitation of Fengtian Republic. I think Tian is misspelled. It should be with a T-I-A-N instead of T-I-E-N. Totalism announced to the world. After Oswald Mosley's meeting with other leftist leaders, it has been agreed that Marxism, socialism, and national syndicalism all share basic principles of state-controlled economics. The total involvement of the state in internal affairs and the importance of socialism has been abbreviated to Totalism. For this reason, the leaders of the factions present have also had a document entitled the Totalist Charter available in all appropriate languages. William Foster applauded the initiative and expressed his support for Totalism. National assent changed by 1. More syndicalist madness. It could never happen here. Well, you say that, but we will see how the elections go. Anyway, One other point here is, this is one major issue for the United States, is dissent. So you can see up here, so we have 14%. That's not very high, but it's going to get a lot higher pretty soon. Usually that is the case. And for those of you not familiar with the game, dissent just makes everything you do a little more difficult. Your units all fight a little worse. Your production goes down a little bit. You have the chance, although now still relatively small chance, of partisans taking over like parts of your country or whatever. So you all usually want to keep dissent down to a pretty low level. Otherwise, it's going to hamper everything else you're trying to do. You can also get a land fortification in Corpus Christi. Now, I am kind of cheesing the game here because I know how this scenario turns out. I've actually played it I tried playing it once and I failed. The second time I succeeded. Anyway, I'm going to just spoil it for you. There's a civil war in the United States. And obviously I'm going to say right now is that if you don't do a few things ahead of time, like build up your militia as much as possible. They're not getting built right now because we don't have the manpower, but that will change very soon. Or move around your forces a little bit. Then you're going to get caught with your pants down. And honestly, I think it's almost impossible for the federal government to recover from the position we get put in. You're going to see in just a minute. When it rains, it pours as far as America's political situation goes. And for the Qing Empire, it was the year of the rat, I guess. So we're going to move the Air Force to... part of our Air Force back to Denver. Bring these guys back to Denver as well. So we have the 2nd U.S. Army Corps. 2nd U.S. Army Corps, commanded by Major General Griswold. We're going to bring him from, he's going to leave San Francisco. He's going to head over to, so we're going to station him on the border with Mexico. Yeah. Got some more. Oh, we have more of an Air Force. We're going to move them all to Denver for the time being. USAF bombardment group has reached its destination, Denver. Excellent, excellent. And we can issue more currency. We do want to do that because we're running out of money and we want to continue our research. Mafia escalation. Power of the mafia is increasing. These criminals are getting out of control. National descent changed by +1. Nothing we can do there. Oh, and here we have Lieutenant General MacArthur commanding the 1st U.S. Army Corps, Big Red One, equipped with an artillery brigade. We're going to want that. But, just going to, for no reason, I'm totally not a time traveler here. I'm just going to decide that MacArthur should leave Washington with his army and go hang out in Corpus Christi instead. Afghanistan declared war on Delhi. Canada government announces the King's Radio Address event has happened to them lately. Don't know what that does. German Empire. France shows its true face. I have played as France before, and I think that that event happens when France declares world revolution. So that's not something we want to be a part of. And the Berlin stock market just crashed. 1936. Vice President Curtis recovers. Many in America feared the worst. I think it should be feared the worst. I think maybe the people who wrote this, their first language is not English. When Vice President Charles Curtis, presumptive Republican nominee to succeed President Hoover, suffered a heart attack earlier in the morning. The White House finally announced the vice president was slowly recovering. If Curtis could be the first president of Native American ancestry, his poor health seems to be a dark omen for the end of the Hoover administration. And +1% national dissent again. More events from France. Black Monday hit Hungary, Austria. Oh, okay. World premiere of Modern Times. I've actually seen this movie. I really liked it. Big fan of Charlie Chaplin. Premiere of Charles Chaplin's new movie, Modern Times, is attended by New York personalities such as Jack Reed, Marquis Perver, and Philip Snowden, especially coming to the USA. The comedy film featuring Chaplin's famous little tramp character is seen as an anti-capitalist and anti-Fordist manifesto in favor of the combined syndicates of America. After a few days, it is censored by the federal government, judged as too provocative a few months before an election. National Dissent changed for +1. Too bad it was so funny. It's kind of funny. And then Battle of the Overpass. In Detroit, Michigan, automotive capital of the world, leaders of the United Auto Workers, Walter Reuther and Richard Frankenstein, called a general strike against the Ford Motor Company and begin which they called unionism, not Fordism. Well, that's not grammatically correct, but I think you understand. Demanding higher pay and less hours. Should be fewer hours. At 2 p.m. today, a photographer from the Detroit Free Press asked to take a photo of the leaders of the UAW. While they were posing, 40 men with batons from the Ford Service Department, an internal security force, came from behind and began to beat them. The group that then beat some of the beret-wearing women arriving to pass out leaflets. This will hurt us more than it hurts the unionists. National Dissent changed by +1. Now you can see now, like 1 month has gone by where our National Dissent already went up by like 4%. One of our ministers has died. We get these events all the time, but honestly, I never really pay attention to them for the most part. Okay, we don't need production, don't need upgrades for now. Yeah, see, so the big bottleneck on our production right now, well, aside from the peacetime industrial capacity debuff that we're getting, is manpower. So we don't have enough manpower to actually be creating this infantry and this cavalry right now, but we're creating some militia, and we're creating the artillery brigades as well, so that's good. And we are working on the land fortification in Fort Corpus Christi. I have no idea why we would all of a sudden want to make sure that our southern border is fortified. Just a crazy idea that I'm getting in my head right now. Has nothing to do with the fact I've played this game before. No way. Speed this up a little bit. Not a whole lot. Oh, new tech developed. Troop ships are finished. All right, so let's actually start researching armor and artillery. So let's upgrade our artillery. Now the U.S. gets a lot of really great researchers for armors and artillery, as well as for the Navy. A few really good naval doctrine researchers as well. Let's have Holt Caterpillar work on that. One of my close family members actually works at Caterpillar. I don't know if it's technically called Holt Caterpillar anymore. Oh, we can issue currency again? Oh, I guess we can't. Black Monday just hit Russia. That's not good. Oh, light aircraft carrier has been researched. So let's start researching 1930, still 1936. Let's research the latest battle cruiser, and we could have the Norfolk Naval Yard work on that again, because that is also Norfolk Naval Yard is basically perfect for researching any type of ship almost. Black Monday hit the Ottoman Empire. Ah, yes, and the Ottomans are still around. Yeah. 100th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo. Today marks the 100th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo, where over 200 brave Texans fought and died for freedom of the newly created Republic of Texas. God bless America. Well, it wasn't part of America at that time, but anyway. Remember the Alamo, -1 National Dissent. Okay, well, I'll take it. Oh, anti-submarine warfare doctrine, 1934 is finished. Oh, outlaw the syndicalist parties. No. I think we're not outlawing anybody right now. Land doctrine. Is there any land? No, I can't really research those. That's too early. I guess maybe aircraft. Nope. These are all 1937. It's not 1937 yet, so Industrial, maybe. That's 1938. 1940 construction. Yeah, we're running out of good things to research here. 1937 for the battleships. ASW. Torpedo, 1935. So let's get some better torpedoes researched. Looks like nobody's really perfect. Let's have Newport. New shipbuilding in there. And we're back on our way. Modern port brigades. Wow. Yeah, see, like, usually what happens is you get all these things researched around within the same, like, 2 days. Hunter-killer. Maybe that's a good doctor to get right. Yeah, okay. Ernest King. And he's researching hunter-killers. Anti-submarine warfare hunter-killer groups. So that increases our ASW efficiency and convoy escort efficiency. Oh, I almost forgot. Yes. Speaking of convoy escorts. We want a lot of we want to build a lot of convoy escorts and a lot of convoys. But we're going to put them... Oh, okay. So they're down at the bottom. Yeah. But we just want to keep those. We want to build those gradually throughout the game. Father Charles Coughlin, CBS radio broadcast. This was a real guy, incidentally, in case you haven't heard. 3 years from today, Father Charles Coughlin started doing... Wait, 3 years from today? Oh, in the past. Father Charles Coughlin started doing weekly a radio broadcast in America, and more than 50 million people turn on their radios and listen. He is a raving anti-Semite, claiming the syndicalist revolution in France was fermented by the Jew, and that the Berlin stock market crash is an intentional hate conspiracy of Jewish baners. I think it's supposed to be bankers. And somehow people still tune in. His hate speech will not be tolerated by the church, and the Pope is expected to make a decision whether to ask the United States government to shut down his broadcast so his hateful message cannot reach the public. So we can either choose Coughlin's becoming a dangerous proposition, shut him down, plus 20 relations with the Italian Federation, and plus 5 national dissent, or there is nothing we can do. Minus 15 relations with the Italian Federation, and plus 3 national dissent. We're going to pick there's nothing we can do, because that's not really very American, banning a public figure, no matter how controversial. And we want as little dissent as possible. St. Patrick's Day flood. Okay, so do we help these people in this flood? We will help the people. And we will get minus 1 national dissent, which we kind of really need right now. Oh, let's move the cavalry up here to Superior. Profits from legation cities. Following the 1926 German intervention in China and the Treaty of Nanjing signed in November of that year, foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast under a joint control of world powers owning interest in China. The independence of these consortium of cities was guaranteed by the major local and international powers. This is the Qing Empire. This thing that's like the German Eastern holdings. Japan, Australia, Canada, United States, and Germany. Foreign investments in legation cities themselves flourished not only through foreign trade, but also thanks to smuggling. Despite ongoing economic crisis, our investment in legation cities still bring us grand profit. And so we get a little bit of money coming in from there. That's good. Let's issue currency because we want to have enough money to continue research, hopefully as much as possible. Oh, yeah, most of those militia are being built. Okay, well, let's back to Colt manufacturing. 1924 light tank. Have Springfield Armory work on that, and then maybe working on 1936 artillery as well. That's good. Good enough anyway. And let's roll. Running out of money here. Let's issue some more currency. Okay, so we just built our first artillery brigade, which I think we can give that to. Yes, we're going to give it to the 2nd Indian Head Division, and led by Major General Griswold. Indian Citizenship Act of 1936. In order to try to gain more sympathy from the North and the West, it has been proposed by the Senate and the House that an Indian Citizenship Act be passed, granting all indigenous people of the United States elevation from second-class citizen to first. Well, that's a no-brainer. Pass the act. Hopefully this will gain us some sympathy. National dissent, -2. And we are passing that bill so fast. It's not only the right thing to do, it's the smartest option as well. Egypt announces the Arab Congress. Chaos in Panama. Yesterday, President Harmodio Madrid of Panama was assassinated by a syndicalist. Reports from our agents in the canal zone indicate the country is in the midst of a syndicalist revolution, the success of which would put both the canal and our interests in Central America in great jeopardy. UPCA armies being mobilized, and President Sacasa is prepared to send them in to stop the Reds. Give the UPAC the green light, obviously. We don't want syndicalists taking over Panama, and control of the canal is super important, so there's no way we can give that up without a fight. And Pope Pius IX just died. Doesn't have anything to do with us, but... Oh, and I just skipped that, but... Yeah, Panama is secure. Okay, so... Revolution has been crushed, and Panama is still controlled by the United Provinces. Just researched... Oh, finished some artillery. And... finished researching hospital group. So what is MacArthur going to do next? Work on 1936 logistics. That's you know, the logistic texts are usually, you want to get those as soon as you can. That's money in the bank right there. German Empire government announces a new book. Mein Kampf happened to them recently. And this, as you can imagine, in this timeline, Mein Kampf, written by Corporal Adolf Hitler, is quite a bit different than it was in our world. So here we have our first militia unit's been built. 238th 1776 Division. There's a lot of really good names, randomly generated names for the divisions here, and so I'm going to share some of them with you as we play the game. Put this guy in Corpus Christi, and he's going to merge, and he's going to join MacArthur's 1st U.S. Army General Corps. And we're going to equip this with that artillery that we just built. Just developed the interwar battle cruiser. It was only May of 1936. We are not going very quickly so far, are we? Let's get that troop ship. 1936 troop ship. You might wonder what the advantage of upgrading the troop ships is, and I wasn't too sure because they can't hold more. You know, if you upgrade your troop ships, they can't hold more. But I looked it up. The difference is just they're just faster, and I guess they have better range as well. 365th Patriot Division may now be deployed. All right, well, we got another militia unit, and I think we're going to just put that with this guy here, with Major General Griswold. 365th Patriot Division with the 2nd Indian Head Division. Canada there announces the government falls. I think that just means... Oh, and the Olympics. We shall attend the Olympics like every civilized nation, as we are one of the powers. Even if our importance is declining, we can dominate the Olympics. National descent change -1. Let's go to the Olympics. 183rd Harlem Division was just created. I'm going to put them here in St. Charles. Canada elected a new prime minister. Jesse Owens wins 2 gold medals. Well, just like in real life, I guess. Or did he win more than that? I don't remember. But Holt Caterpillar just created improved interwar field artillery. Okay. We'll have Ernest King work on some more naval doctrines, like convoy trains. No, maybe not. 1936. Yes, aerial supremacy. Increase the morale of our carrier groups and escort carrier groups. And Holt Caterpillar is going to work on our anti-aircraft brigades, which we haven't built any yet, but we will eventually. Post-war Tank 2 has been developed as well. 160th Freedom Division has been created. See, I told you, these names are pretty awesome, aren't they? Okay. Man, we're running out of 1936. Oh, improved naval invasion, 1934. Okay, we're running late on that, so let's just... MacArthur's going to figure that out. What can't that guy do? He's commanding an army at the same time he's researching new naval doctrines. Great Heat Wave of 36. This just isn't our year. +2 national dissent. End of the Olympics. National dissent changed by -3. Hooray. But spelled with an N instead of an H for some reason. (240th Minuteman Division). A lot of really great, like, patriotic kind of names here. I really like it. I'm going to put him in Tucson. Both of them in Tucson, actually. And we're going to pick a major general to lead this army, these divisions. Maybe Major General Collins. And he is a trickster, which I don't exactly remember what that means, but I know it's good. Death of Alexander Berkman. Today, the writer, American leader of the anarcho-syndicalist movement and would-be assassin Alexander Berkman passed away after losing his battle with a prostate condition. His body will be taken back to his homeland of Vilnius, Lithuania, for his funeral. He was the leader of the syndicalist movement in the Americas, and the movement suffers a major setback with his departure. National dissent changed by +1. The anarcho-syndicalist torch passes on to John Jack Reed. See, a lot of these like pop-ups, they don't give you any good options. You know, it's just you just gain dissent. Period. Gone with the Wind. Margaret Mitchell published her novel Gone with the Wind, which immediately received wide support and is maybe the next Pulitzer Prize, set in the Old South during the American Civil War, so on and so forth. Many saw it as a reminder of the strained political situation in the United States. Many America First Southerners claimed the novel was supporting their cause. National dissent is changed by -1. My dear, I don't give a damn. Clever. Mildly. Theoretical breakthrough, secret weapon. Looks like we're going to be able to... rocket and turbojet engines. Excellent. And we're going to be researching those eventually. 4th of July... Celebrate democratic ideals, -1 dissent. Nice. Great Peace Demonstration. Great Peace Demonstration was held at the Capitol when tens of thousands of people cheered the cabinet members and members of the opposition as they all meant to the public that today's government. The head of government and the leader of the opposition both spoke against involving the country in war. Domestic policy moved one towards isolationism. That's a generic event, you know, referring to the head of state and the parliament. It's obviously based on, I think, Canada. Commune of France celebrated Bastille Day. And we just finished building our artillery, which we're going to equip. I guess we're going to give this to the 3rd Rock of the Roanoke. And to this Harlem Division. Edward VIII sends a letter to Hoover. With rising instability in the U.S., that should be instability, I think, the new king of British Empire, Edward 8th, decided to send a private letter to President Herbert Hoover. While the media don't know the contents of the letter, it is speculated that King warned the president that in case of choosing the radicals, Canada and her allies would need to take drastic measures, as they don't want to spoil the stability in the Canadian-American border. National dissent changed with +1. Yeah, what can I do? Yeah, well, how about just butt out, Canada? Don't need you. Alright. Can we deploy anything? Can deploy a artillery brigade, and we're going to deploy that with the 160th Freedom Division, who I believe are, yes, they're in Tucson. Okay. Oh, deploy, excellent. So you can see here our manpower is finally ticking up. After sitting down in the crapper for so long. Issue some more currency. And you didn't see that, but Japan just dissolved their accords with the Entente. So before, Japan was kind of allied with like the Canadian bloc, the Entente, but now they seem to be wanting to go their own way. New technology developed. Troop ships. Wow. What is wrong with me today? Maybe I'm having a stroke. Land doctrines. What is there that I can still... Oh, okay. Basic decimetric radar warning sites. Oh, we'll have Goddard work on that for us. Wow. It's quite a coincidence. He's got the skills to research make a breakthrough in radar. Aerial supremacy has been developed. 128th Brooklyn Division. Okay, I guess maybe we'll give it to our army here in St. Charles. And is there anything else we could do? No. Yes, actually, we need to continue researching naval doctrines, I guess. 1937, 1937. Distraction action. Counter rating efficiency plus 5%. Yeah, let's go with that. There's a few different ways that this can play out for America, and pretty much all of them involve some kind of naval action. So we want to make sure that our Navy is basically our #1 asset. We have another artillery, and we will apply that with the 365th Patriot Division. Great heat wave is over. -1 descent. Thank God. 226th Alamo Division. It would be funny to put that on our border with Mexico, but I think we're actually, you know what, we are going to put it on our border with Mexico. I'm going to put our... we don't really need to finish that carrier, do we? Actually, you know what? Just finish it. Don't want to waste it. Cruise torpedo was just developed. Excellent. A day in September. The social and political consensus in American society is broken down, and the current presidential election campaign is like nothing we've ever seen. The America First Union Party is organizing right-wing militias in the South and Midwest, and communists control the streets of Chicago and Detroit. Senior military commanders believe it may be necessary to cancel the election and suspend the Constitution if we are to avoid complete social breakdown. Invite the military. Okay, well, we got it. This is our first major choice as America. And we're going to say the elections must go ahead. National Assent +5. If we chose the other one, invite the military to step in, our democratic level slider goes down from 10 to 4. And Douglas MacArthur becomes the head of state. I think we are going... Oh, and... yeah, I think we're going to skip that. No? Nope, elections will go ahead. don't think Douglas MacArthur really wants to just take the reins of government unless things get really bad. And the 239th Detroit Division has been created. We are going to drop him down in Houston. And I think we're gonna pause right before the election. I think that might be a good idea. Oh, 131st. Should be 131st, but it's 131st with a TH Lincoln Division. They're also going to go in Houston. Major General Breeze. Is that who we want? Oh, Logistics Wizard Old Guard. I guess that's not so bad. Japan canceled their trade agreement with us. Okay, well, we didn't really need anything anyway. Not for now. 185th Raging Cajuns. Four divisions. We're gonna need a. Oh, actually, no. We're gonna stay that way, and we're going to just. Raging Cajuns is gonna be their own army corps, led by Major General Chamberlain. Yes, and we're going to put him in Cedar Rapids. Oh, we just developed rear area supply dumps. Naval doctrines. Let's see. Unrestricted submarine warfare, I guess. And Holt Caterpillar is still, well, they're done. Wow, we researched a lot of text. Okay, well, just better tanks. Let's see, can we research any more types of ships? Not at this time. Not 1937 yet. Bombers, no. How about air doctrines? 1939, 1938, 38, 39, 37, 36. Battlefield destruction doctrine. Excellent. Okay. I guess we'll have Colt Manufacturing do it. And then, something from 1937. Oh, anti-tank artillery, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, Springfield Armory. Perfect. They're going to get that done in no time. All right, let's go. October. Outlaw the extreme nationalist parties. No, we're not doing that. This is America. We don't outlaw political parties. I don't think we do. Do we? No, we don't. Uh, 240th Minuteman Division is getting an artillery piece. Artillery Division. Brigade, sorry. Improved naval invasion. Thanks a lot, MacArthur. Anything else we can do here? Not 1937. Wow, maybe we'll just have to get a jump on some of these. Motorized infantry, 1935. Yes, let's go with that. Motorized infantry are always good. All right, and it is now October. Oh, wow. 1936 presidential election. Results are finally in from what has probably been the most ideologically contested presidential election the United States has ever witnessed. This is probably not the end of our problems, but for the time being, victory goes to. Now we get to choose. This is another one of those big decisions as America that we have to make. We're going to go with Huey Long, the American First Union Party. Wow, so Huey Long is now the President of the United States. And let's check out Huey Long, Southern demagogue. Huey Pierce Long Jr. is an American politician for the U.S. state of Louisiana and the leader of the American First Union Party. Percent growth, minus 5%. Charles Coughlin is the foreign minister. Oh, okay. This is pretty nuts. Well, let's hope we don't end up regretting our decision. I think we're going to stop right here. So we're going to put this America 1 So we just finished the presidential election in 1936. I wonder how that's going to turn out. Stay tuned in, folks.